All right, there's another one. Oh boy, they're fired up in there. We were loading that bait shack up now. Man, I think that's a nice bass next to a rock out there. I don't have exactly what they want, but then the bluegill will take it before it even gets near them. So yeah, I didn't want her to have all that stuff stuck on her if I didn't think she was going to come back. And I didn't want to lose a $300+ transmitter. So I just made the decision to let her go. Welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. If you're like me and you love the outdoors, you may want to subscribe. In this channel, I don't hunt with a gun, and I don't hunt with a bow, I hunt with a hawk. And as the seasons change, I fish from a kayak. This channel is about falconry, a sport that dates back thousands of years. This channel is about kayak fishing, a sport that dates back thousands of years. This is fins and talons. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here at Alum Creek at the marina here in Ohio, and I've not put a video out like this before, I don't think, where I'm just getting bait. I have a tournament tomorrow, so it's mostly a channel cat tournament up on Sandusky Bay, and I've been busy all week, so last minute I need to get bait. My number one bait of choice for Sandusky Bay for cut bait is bluegill. It always has been. I've always taken shad or shrimp as backup, and I've tried them and I have some success, but in May and June and July it just seems like bluegill's on fire. I don't know if it's my assumption is that you know, these channel cats, these big breeders, they're preparing to spawn. They're in the middle of spawn. Some are coming off spawn, depending on where they are in the process. And the bluegill is something that can eat their eggs, eat their fry. It's a threat. So it's a food source and it's a threat. So that is kind of my thought is why it does so well. You know, shrimp or you know, chicken liver, that's just food, you know, for the channel cats. But I think the bluegill being a threat, I think that's why I do so well with it. So that's what my plan is. And honestly, bluegill, it's probably my favorite catfish bait. I know cut crappie does real well at times. You know, gizzard shad is a staple for them in the wild. You know, blue cats just constantly eating shad, and channel cats and flatheads too, but it just seems like bluegill is just, I do well with it. Live bait, cut bait, it does well. But enough yapping. We're going to fill the bait shack up, and I'm gonna go over that with you guys real quick too. All right guys, this is a bait shack. It's 22 quart. It's made by Whisker Seeker Tackle, and if you guys haven't been on that website, it's a pretty good website for catfish and stuff. They got all kinds of things. Not sponsored by them or anything like that. I do like their stuff. But here at the marina, and most marinas, you can't fish from the docks, but I do use them to load up water in my bait shack. But these things are pretty cool. They're not cheap by any means. I think they retail for $250, but they're unbelievable. They've got this little panel here, shows the battery level. You can turn it on. There's 1, 2, and 3, depending on how much oxygen you want to give your bait. And it can open from both sides, which is nice, or you can take the whole lid off if you pop all 4 of those off. It's got this solar panel built in, which I always kind of felt like solar panels were a little bit of a gimmick. They're kind of weak, but I think they've come a long way with them. And I've had this bait shack for a few months now, and I've never had to charge it, like manually charge it through the port, which is crazy to me because I've put it through several hours being on level 3, keeping a bunch of bait alive, and that solar panel just keeps the battery topped off. I think the lowest I've ever had it was 2 out of 4 is the lowest. It's on 3 right now. But just the solar panel does do a pretty good job. And then you've got The motor's all built into this lid, and you've got 3 of these aerator lines here with the stones, and basket, which is nice. You can just pull all your bait out real quick, leave the water in here. So I'm just gonna fill this up here. As long as I don't fall in. Okay. There we go. That should take care of us for now. Yeah, I do love bluegill though for cat bait. It does a real nice job. I don't even think I'm going to take any of my other stuff for backup. We had a tournament a few weeks ago on Sandusky Bay, and I had some other stuff, but I just used bluegill and it was just hammering them. So I'm just going to stick with it. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Good.
Got some fishing?
Yeah, just trying to get some bluegill on the bank there. Yep. All right, got that done. This water here at Alum Creek is usually very clear, and down here by the marina is real clear too. But I go to several different lakes to get my bait. This is just one of them. But literally all along the rocks, you can cast out towards the docks at all these different lakes. There's just bluegill and different types of fish you can use for bait. Golden shiners. I don't think I've ever caught a golden shiner here, but different types of bluegill. You can use crappie as long as you catch on rod and reel here in Ohio. So yeah, we're just gonna, I don't know, maybe 30-45 minutes of fishing here. We can get what we need. You can use bass, but I always feel bad. And the bass guys do not appreciate you cutting their bass up for catfish bait. So, all right, guys, we're gonna try to work closer to that corner of the dock there. Been some activity over there, I see. But yeah, I've had a pretty good season this year. I got 4th place out of, I don't know, 23. There's something. Came off. 4th place out of 20 something, I can't remember. Maybe it was high 20s at Rocky Fork. Oh, there's a little bass chasing this. So that was good. I don't know, I made $400 off that. And then Jeb and I went down to Alabama. I got 2nd place in big fish there. I forget. Oh, we got something here. There we go. Oh yeah, it looks like some kind of bluegill here. Yeah. All right. Now, if you guys are going to ask me what subspecies of bluegill or each one, I don't know. I call a lot of these things bluegill. So, if you guys want to tell me what they are, put the time in the comments and what you think they are. But a lot of these things, I just call them bluegill. So, that'd be nice bait. So, what I'll do is, since I'm taking these fish live from Alum Creek, I cannot use them live anywhere else but Alum Creek. It's just an Ohio law. They don't want you moving live fish around. So I'll turn this on. Just on one power out of 3, because it's just one fish in there. Doesn't need a ton of oxygen yet. But anyway, I can use them up at Sandusky Bay. They just can't be alive when I put them in, so they have to be cut. So what I usually do is I keep these things alive until before I launch, and then I put them all in a freezer bag and put them in my cooler, and then I just use them as cut bait, and they're real fresh. So that's usually how I do that. All right, there's one. Yeah, so Jeb and I were down in Alabama. I got 2nd place in big fish there. I think there was, well, heck, I don't remember how many there were of us, maybe 12, something like that. I think that was around $750 maybe. And then we went to Florida. There was no tournament down there. Man, there's that, well, that's a nice fish, guys. I wonder if that's a bass. That's a nicer fish. if it's a panfish. Oh, it's a panfish. That's gonna be a nice one there. And he is spunky too. Yeah, that's a good one there. Very nice. We didn't do a tournament down in Florida. If you guys watched that video or videos, we just went down there for fun. My parents have a house down there, and we met up with them and did a little seafood boil down there. That's a nice fish. The real big ones, I can get 3 pieces of bait for channel cats. That might be just two good pieces. And I will keep some smaller bluegill that'll just be one bait. I'll just trim the fins off and cut them a little bit just to get some scent out there. So I try not to keep a bunch of small bluegill, but if I'm hurting for bait, I will. So that was a good one. That'll definitely be a two-piecer there. So we left Florida. Gosh, I got a mess here now. I don't even know what I did. We left Florida and came back. Then I did not do well. I got spanked in a couple tournaments. Which order, I don't remember. There was a Hoover tournament. These are all Ohio. This is an Ohio trail, the Katyakers of Ohio. I got spanked in a Hoover tournament, which is kind of my home waters. You know, I fished that a good bit. Did not do well there, but I also was trying to flathead fish too, which you shouldn't really do in a tournament where there's a bunch of blue cats, because it's gonna take you, you know, flatheads usually take a while. I mean, maybe you can get them quicker in a river, but you know, flathead fishing in a reservoir in an 8-hour tournament is not the smartest thing to do. But I did it, and I didn't win. I didn't place or anything. I didn't make a video out of it. I caught a few fish, but it was just whatever. I didn't make a video out of it. I didn't want to bore you guys to death too bad. Kind of like how I'm making you guys watch me undo this knot. But and then I lost somewhere else too. I didn't do well. Caesar Creek, Katyakers of Ohio at Caesar Creek, and that's a pretty cool lake, but I don't usually do great there for whatever reason. I did not flathead fish, but I just couldn't get on. I was not in the right part of the lake, I think. But then after that, I was doing pretty good. I won the regional tournament, online catfishing tournaments, regional tournament for May. And then I don't remember how much that was. Lost my wax worm. Trying to undo all that. So yeah, I won that. I think that was like $300 or $350, something like that, for the regional. That was between Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania. You have the whole month. It was the whole month of May, and it was your biggest channel cat, flathead, and blue cat. There's a little bluegill. There's a couple bluegill here. They're not bad. Let's toss to them, see if they bite. They're chasing the float. Oh, there. Oh, he missed it. And then he tangled me up. Those aren't bad bluegill. I don't know where they went now. Oh, there's a bass over there. Yeah, a lot of the lakes I fish, you can't see the fish because it's so muddy, but you can see these guys. See if I can catch this one. Got him. Yeah, he'll do. He's a little bigger than he looked in the water there. Could definitely get one bait out of him. Might be able to get 2 out of him. So anyway, won the regional. And then the regional, the Sandusky tournament. So the Katyakers of Ohio Sandusky tournament. That was a few weeks ago, and I got second place. I actually tied with Skip Martin. He's a well-known cat fisherman here in Ohio. Been a guide on Sandusky Bay for years. And he was actually in Fisherman magazine. I remember when I was younger reading an article that he was in. There's a nice bluegill that just chased us there. See if we can get him. There's a couple little ones around him. There, he's going for it. Ah, a smaller one grabbed it, dang it. He's a little small. We're not hurt. We're doing pretty good here, so I'm gonna let him go. But I remember reading about Skip, and that was it. And then years go by, and I end up fishing against him in some of these tournaments, and I'm like, holy cow, you know, what a legend. If you're an In Fisherman magazine, that says something, you know. And he's just, you know, he's fished the state for, he likes channel cats and flatheads, you know, he really knows them. There's a fish. That's a decent one there. But yeah, I tied with him for second and third place. I ended up getting second because some tournaments do it differently. Either you got there first to second. Ow, that one stuck me there. You got there first, or you have the bigger fish. So I think Katyakers has it set up this year that it's who gets there first. But I had both anyway. I had gotten to second place first, and I had the bigger fish between Skip and I, so I ended up pulling off second place, which paid $1,100, which was pretty nice. And it was crazy. It was like the top 5 or 6 were all within inches of each other. It was just a battle. So that was a few weeks ago. I'm sure the fish are still fired up down there. I just reeled my line in because there was a bunch of real small ones chasing. I didn't want them to rob me. But yeah, so we're going back up there, but it's going to be Katyakers again, and it's going to be the OCT Online Catfishing Tournament's National Trail at the same time. So you can, what we call double dip, you can fish both tournaments. So it's 100 for one tournament and 150 for the other tournament. Now, there's going to be a lot of guys in both. If you have a really good day, and let's say you get first in big fish, there's something ripping across going after the bait there. Should hit it here any second. Maybe he doesn't want it. If you do real well, and you take first and big fish in both events, it's going to be over $5,000. So quite the payday that we could have. So I need to load up on bluegill and try to do well in this tournament. Yeah, I would love to have first and big fish in both tournaments, but if you get a piece of either of those tournaments, you're going to be looking pretty good because there's going to be some good money. There's going to be some good money. Oh boy, this one's fired up. That's a nice one. There's going to be some good money in both tournaments. So, and Sandusky Bay is just a blast. It's fun. There's size down there. I mean, channel cats, they're just crazy in there. And supposedly there's some, well, I had hooked a flathead there a few years ago. So there are a couple flatheads in there. I don't know why there's not many. I think if you go up into the Sandusky River, there's some numbers of them. But in the bay, there's not many. But I did hook into one, not catfishing. It was March 2 or 3 years ago. I was trolling crankbaits just for walleye and white bass, whatever would bite. And I thought I had a snag. It was just a Berkeley flicker shad. I thought I had a snag. And, well, there's a nice bluegill, but he doesn't see my bait. Anyway, once I realized that the snag was moving, there's one right in front of us here. See if he'll take it. Oh. I fought him for about 15 plus minutes. And I was able to see like a pretty good section of his tail. And you could see it was just a big flathead tail. But oh, he didn't want it. It was a nicer bluegill, but he spit it out. Must have felt the hook. But yeah, so there are flatheads there, but the odds of getting one aren't great. There's one. I watched him come up and hit it. I love this clear water. These are all decent. I'm not throwing many bluegill back here. and I lost track of how many we have. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but oh, yeah, it's a decent one there. Definitely a 2-piece. I don't know what we've got. Maybe 5. I don't know. I do have some frozen bluegill for backup from the last tournament I didn't use. I will take that. I don't like frozen bait unless I have to use it. So it's there if we run out of fresh stuff. Gosh, I got a whole pile of waxworms here. So yeah, as far as falconry goes, that's a whole story. Let's see, we released Xena. She didn't want to hunt squirrels. My regular viewers are probably tired of hearing me say that, but that's an issue for me, so let her go. She was a great bird though. Man, if you just wanted a rabbit hunt, she was a stone cold killer. She couldn't miss there those last few months of the season. But I had that Merlin. That's also a whole story. And I knew I was going to learn a lot with my any kind of first bird. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to make mistakes. I tried to read up and talk to people. Well, there's that nice bass there. I actually wouldn't mind if he hit, because he'd take me for a ride. Looks like something's taking my waxworm right now. Messing with it. So anyway, the Merlin, very nice bird, nice to work with. I never hunted her. It's a decent bluegill right there. Come on, take it. Got him. So if I could go back, everything went well, and I got some real good tips from Merlin falconers. But every bird is different too. And a lot of the Merlins are fine with the leather lure, whatever. Oh, he just knocked my waxworms all over the place. I probably should have rinsed him off before I put him in there. Gosh. I gotta pick my waxworms out of goose poop. There's goose crap everywhere here. This is fun. Anyway, the Merlin, my specific Merlin, she did not like the leather lure. I cut it down. I got the smallest lure I could find online. I cut the wings off. It was kind of like supposed to look like a bird. I cut the wings off. I think that helped a little bit. But I was just constantly for a couple months trying to get her to go after this thing, and she was always half-hearted with it. I tried all the different weights. So then I finally, now we're at a pretty cold temperature in winter, and I didn't really want to. I'm just as fast as I can pull these things out of here. She was like shivering. Oh, that fish got away. Maybe. Yep, he got away. It's your lucky day. I almost got him back. He destroyed that waxworm. So I would keep her in her muse. I built a muse just for her. I would keep it around 60 degrees, 55, 60. But when I would take her out and it was like 20 degrees, she would just start shivering, and it's almost like she couldn't even focus on what we were doing. So I just worked with her inside. But in the winter, I started to use a dead sparrow as the lure instead of the leather lure. And she came after that immediately, no questions asked. And when I would get a warmer day in the winter, I would take her out on the creons and she would go after it, no problem. Well, I don't know what changed. Maybe something I did, I have no idea. But she was just not wanting to. She she was not as comfortable with me as she was for all that time. When spring started rolling around, we got some warmer days, and I was like, all right, let's do some hunting. You know, I just wanted to bag her on that sparrow lure a few more times. She just, yeah. I just had a feeling she wasn't going to fly back to me. You know, what we had going on there for a while, it wasn't the same. So then I started getting nervous because I don't, you know, especially with that small of a bird. I think this is a bass. That's, yeah. I'll let him go. I did not want her to. Well, is that a smallmouth? That looks like a little smallmouth there, guys. I forgot Alan had these smallies in here. Oh, there he goes. So, gosh, he destroyed that wax worm too. I'm going through them. Where I lost my train of thought. Merlin. Oh, so I had a bad feeling that I wasn't going to get her back. And I have had like red tails, you know, I had that feeling like, man, training's just not going the way I usually like it to go. And then sure enough, they don't come back. They are gone. So with her being that small of a bird, I did not want her to be out in the wild for weeks, months, however long it would take her to get her equipment off of her. And, you know, that would affect her, I think, in the long run, having that stuff on her, slowing her down. I don't know, I didn't want to chance it. And I had a Marshall Micro transmitter for my telemetry for her, which was, I think, over $300. And I really didn't want to lose that either. So, man, I think that's a nice bass next to a rock out there. I don't have exactly what they want, but and the bluegill will take it before it even gets near them. So yeah, I didn't want her to have all that stuff stuck on her if I didn't think she was going to come back. And I didn't want to lose a $300+ transmitter. So I just made the decision to let her go. I learned a bunch. You know, when I get my next Merlin, I will be ready to go. I'm not messing with the leather lure. Maybe the Merlin would be fine with the leather lure the next one I get, but you know, if I can just keep a handful of frozen sparrows in my little freezer for the hawk and falcon, and no big deal to me, you know, I'll just use a frozen sparrow for the lure. But yeah, I learned a bunch. I got all the equipment I need now for it. I don't have any plans of getting a Merlin this season. I want to trap a redtail and get back into, this is a decent one, get back into squirrel and rabbit hunting, but definitely squirrel hunting. You know, I had fun with Xena last year, but you know, rabbit hunting is fun, don't get me wrong, but gosh dang, there's something about squirrel hunting, about going up in the trees. And I've chased squirrels with a hawk for like an hour and a half. Oh, this is nicer than I thought he was. That's a three-piecer. Oh, that's a three-piecer there. Yeah, looks, he got bit by something at some point. If you can see that right where my fingernail is, he got bit. He doesn't have it. There's a little mark on his other side, but there's a lot of predators in this lake. Muskie and sawguy and bass. But I'm going to get a redtail this season. That's my plan. I did have plans to get a different type of bird. I'm not going to get into that yet. Probably the following season. I might change it up a little bit, and I'll probably do this my whole life. Yeah, I think this year's 21 years in falconry. I've missed a couple years here and there with moving, but you know, and I think there's a lot of falconers out there like me that you mess around with different types of birds, but then you always come back to the redtail, you know, just old faithful. It's what you started with. They're reliable. You can hunt them in any temperature. within reason. They're very opportunistic, and I just love them. And you can release them back to the wild. It's not like a captive bred bird. This is another nice one. You can release them back to the wild, you know, whereas a captive bred bird, you can't release that bird back to the wild. So you got to sell them to someone or gift them to someone. So, you know, and there's falconers out there, they have no plans of keeping a bird longer than one season. They trap it, hunt with it for a season, let it go when, you know, it warms up a little in the spring, and do it all again, you know. Maybe they're vacationing in the summer, and, you know, they're going to go on their vacations. They don't need anyone to take care of their bird while they're gone. I don't always get the right bird. So when I do get that right bird, I don't want to let it go. You know, I don't want to keep it for 20 years, but, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, you know, and let it go. But that's the plan. This next bird, this red tail, unless it's an absolute rock star, I'm going to release it next spring. Just hunt with it this season, and then go to. I'm gonna keep it from you guys. Go to this other bird I'm thinking about. Not a merlin, not a red tail, but this season will be a red tail. There's just something about, you know, summertime and the falconry trapping season's getting closer. You know, the apprentices are all excited to get out there, and heck, even us old farts are excited to get out there and trap. And sometimes even if you don't even need a bird, it's just fun to trap, you know. And we can kind of help out the wild population a little bit. If you trap a bird that's not doing very well, you can help it out, or, you know, you can get it to a wildlife rehabber. Oh, I just had one take a swipe. Get it to a wildlife rehabber, and you know, get it fixed up and get it released. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun to see the different birds too. My plan is to not. I'm not looking for a giant bird. You know how Xena was a big bird, and a couple other guys in the state have even got bigger birds than Xena. I'm not looking for a giant. My best bird ever. She was a smaller female. You know, I don't think it's the size. It's the fight. It's the fight and the hawk. You know, because a small female red tail can still hold down some big game. You know, my first bird, she got kicked off of a couple geese. She couldn't hang on to them. There's one. That can be a one-piecer there. I'll keep him. So yeah, I mean, she got kicked off a couple geese. She caught. She got knocked off a couple pheasants too. So maybe Xena wouldn't have got knocked off all that, but she did get 3 muskrats, a flying squirrel. I think she got a groundhog. It was like a middle-aged groundhog. It wasn't giant, but it wasn't small. Pretty impressive for a red tail to hold that down. She hit it right on the head, and I was able to help her with it. I got there pretty quick. She did catch 2 ducks, 2 hen mallards. I should have mounted one of those or both of them, but I was like 19, 20 years old, so I just had enough money to pay my rent and put gas in my truck at the time. But if I would kill a duck with a red tail today, it would be put on the wall for sure. But yeah, we're gonna keep loading up on bluegill here, and there's a bass chasing the bobber there. We're gonna keep loading up here for this tournament. That's a little guy, and he launched out of the water. Small but spunky here, huh? I don't think I'm gonna keep you. All right, I had to go up to the car. I ran through that first set of waxworms. I thought that'd be enough. It's usually enough for a whole bait run, but I was getting robbed. So got another one of these. Forgot my coffee, so grabbed that. And we are back in business.
It's on Bud Wake. It's one of the smaller ones, but
Yeah.
still nice. I will say.
Yeah.
The other main thing that's known here is muskie.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Big muskie are known here. Usually they're at the dam though.
Yeah.
That's where they grow up. That's where they can like.
Oh, there's something good.
That's where they like can't get bothered.
Uh-huh.
Like
That'll be a keeper if we can get him in here.
oh, wow.
There's a
Decent size.
yeah.
There's a pretty big crappie over here. See, that'll sit under the dock.
Yeah. I'm just using these guys for catfish bait.
I've even caught a catfish out here. I was fishing for female and crappie.
Yeah.
Just walking the docks when they weren't open, and I dropped my jig down there. Next thing you know, like a 5-pound catfish came up and swallowed.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, okay.
Probably took you for a little ride.
Oh, he did. Yeah, it took me like 10 minutes.
Jeez.
He bent my hook and everything.
Yeah, they're a good time.
Yeah, like over here, like you can feed them by hand.
Really?
They'll come up and eat from your hand.
That's funny.
There's a lady over here that used to feed them with hot dogs.
Oh, jeez. There's another one there. That one's got a little weight behind him. If I can get him in. I'm waiting for a muskie to swipe one of these things while I'm trying to reel him in.
Yeah, they'll like.
That's a good one there.
They kind of like to sit in the deep, so like it gets deeper over there.
Yeah. That's a good one. Alright guys, we're loaded down with bluegill. Like I said, I'm just going to take frozen for backup, but I think this fresh bluegill is going to do it for us tomorrow. Just hopefully we can find the big male and female breeders that we need to win these tournaments. So we're going to give it our best, and also that is the plan for this coming falconry season, is trapping a redtail and maybe trapping several redtails with the apprentices and friends. But yeah, been a good morning here. Didn't have to move spots, which is nice. Sometimes I have to run up and down the bank looking for spots, but we nailed them on this one. So as far as my rod and reel goes, nothing fancy. I think it's a B&M Ultralight, and then just some cheap reel from Cabela's. I got 6-pound test, but yeah, we're loaded up, and next video should be the Sandusky tournament. Hopefully we place, but even if we don't, I think we're gonna have a good time. Sandusky doesn't usually disappoint, but thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.